It's been a while. What is going on YouTube? I know it's been a while since I last made a video, and that's just because I've been extremely busy trying to learn new things and delve into different genres. So I'm just going to quickly show you guys a few clips of some things that I've been working on. So yeah, just been working on some action scenes, some fight scenes, and also trying to get better at that epic B-roll style that's really popular at the moment. So hopefully I'll be able to bring you guys some content from that soon and teach you guys a few things from those areas. But as for today, I'm going to be doing an effect from one of my favorite YouTubers, Brandon Lee. And if you guys haven't seen his videos, he is an absolute amazing storyteller, and you guys should definitely go and check him out. One thing that I love about Brandon Lee's style is that he likes to use transitions that aren't overly showy and blend seamlessly into the flow of the video. And just like what I said about Sam Kolder, a lot of these top travel video makers like to blend elements from one shot into the next. So the effect in question that I'm going to be showing you guys how to do is this one. So you guys might not have even noticed that transition when you first watched it, but that's one of the reasons why I want to focus on it today. Although it's a pretty simple transition, I feel like the versatility of it will be very helpful to you guys, and it's just a clean and easy way to transition between two shots. So without wasting too much more time, let's just get right into it. Okay, I'm here in Premiere Pro 2019, and I just have my two clips here, and I'll quickly show you guys what the clips look like. So the first clip is just me focusing on the lamp and then panning off to the side. And the second clip, I knew that I wanted to mask out this window frame to carry into that previous shot. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to bring these clips into Adobe After Effects, and I can do that by selecting them, right-clicking on them, and then clicking on Replace with After Effects Composition. Once After Effects opens up, the thing that we're going to want to do first is track the motion of this camera. However, I tried using that on this clip, and unfortunately it just didn't work. So there are other ways you can do it, and one of which is you can manually track it by just keyframing the positions on a null and parenting your clip to that. Or you could do it the way I like to do it, which is use Mocha Ae. And you could do that by going up to Effects and then typing in Mocha and just selecting Mocha Ae CC and dragging that onto your clip. And in order to open Mocha, you just have to click on this big Mocha button. So Mocha is just a planar tracker that comes included in Adobe After Effects, and I find for things like this, it works extremely well. So the thing you're going to want to do first is you're going to want to go up here and click on the Create X-Spline tool, and you're just going to want to draw a box around some area that you want to track. So I'm just going to draw a box around here, make sure there's a good amount of detail for it to follow. And the awesome thing about Mocha is it's able to track shots like these extremely well. So I'll go ahead and start tracking forward, and you can do that by clicking on this T and just let Mocha do its thing. At any point, if you feel like the tracker is going off target, you can stop the track, fix it, and then just continue tracking from there. And I'm just going to track up until my box disappears off the screen, because once it disappears off, the track just starts getting all messed up, and we won't be needing any more tracking data past that point anyways. Okay, so it's about to finish, and once it goes off screen, you see that it messes up, so I'm just going to stop it. And we're not going to be using those tracking points past this anyways, so I'm just going to show you guys how well a job Mocha did at tracking it. So just scrubbing through. Even when it starts to get blurry, Mocha does an extremely great job at keeping that track. So I'm going to head up to File and go down to Save Project, and then now you can just exit out of Mocha. And we're back in After Effects, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to create a null object. So I could just right click down here, go to New, and click on Null Object. And I'm going to head back to that same layer we just tracked, click on it, and go down to Tracking Data. And I'm going to click on Create Track Data. And you want to make sure this gear icon is checked next to the layer that you want to create the tracking data for. Just go ahead and click OK. And just like that, it's created the tracking data, but we want to apply that to the null object. So just head down to Export Options, change this from Corner Pin to Transform, click on the export layer as the null object, and click Apply Export. Okay, so now we can move on to the second shot. So I'm going to click on the second shot and just bring it up above our first clip. and just drag it to about right here. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to freeze the frame so that we only have to mask out this one frame. In order to do that, just right click on the clip, go up to time and click on freeze frame, and that's just going to freeze that frame for the whole duration of that clip. Next, I'm going to draw a mask around the window frame just to mask it out. And I'm not going to be too accurate on this just because it is a tutorial, but you guys can spend as much time as you want. And now that I have that masked out, I actually want to flip it to the other side because I do want it coming from that left side. And you guys don't have to worry about this step if you filmed it correctly, but I am an idiot, so I filmed it the opposite direction without realizing it. So in order to fix that, just go up to effects, type in flip, go to the flip effect and just drag that right on and change the rotation to 180 degrees, and that'll flip it to the other side. So next, I'm just going to go forward in the clip to find a point where I want the window frame to appear. And I think right here is a pretty good place. And then I'm just going to parent the clip to the null object. And now if we play it back, you can see that it moves with that null object and it cuts off here. So in order to fix that, just drag the clip a little bit forward so it stays on screen for a little bit longer. And I guess I need to drag it a little bit more. And maybe just one more frame. There we go. There we go. All right, and that's looking pretty good to me. And as you can see, it gets cut off right here because that part of the window doesn't exist in the frame that we froze. So in order to fix that, I'm just gonna scale it up a bit and then also rotate it so that it matches better with the shot. And it does still cut off, but I want the shot to blend in before that happens. So the next step is just to blend in that second shot. And to do that, just click on the clip that we just masked out. And I'm just gonna make 2 copies of that. And you can do that by clicking Ctrl D twice. And I'm just gonna delete the mask on these clips that I just made. So I'm just gonna go up here, click on M, delete that mask, and do that for the second one also. So now I'm gonna find a point where I want the second clip to be fully blended in. And I think right here looks good. So I'm gonna drag this first clip all the way back to that playhead. Then I'm gonna head down here and I'm gonna head a few frames forward, maybe right here. And I'm just gonna open up the opacity on this second layer by clicking on T, and I'm just gonna create a keyframe right there, turn it down to 0% and head forward. Maybe I'll actually move this back and move this a little bit forward actually. And I think that's a good spot to blend it in. So I'm just gonna turn on the opacity to 100% right there. And playing it through, now you can see that seamless blend into that second shot. And now we want that second clip to start playing from this point on. So now go back and click on that top clip and click on U to open up all the keyframes, and go ahead and delete that freeze frame. You can do that by clicking on the stop keyframe here and clicking on delete. And now the clip will continue playing normally from that point on. But as you can see, it keeps following this null object. So to fix that, all we have to do is go up to the null object, click on U to open up all the keyframes, and we're just going to delete all the keyframes from that point on, from the playhead on forward. So just go ahead and click on delete after selecting all of those. And now, just like that, it's going to stay exactly where we want it to, and the next clip is going to play through. And I realized that not everybody wants their second clip to be scaled up like that and rotated. So you guys can just keyframe the scale and the rotation back to normal once you blend into that second shot. And that's pretty much the basic effect. But as always, I'm just gonna add a few things to make it look a little bit cleaner. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add some blur to this window frame just because it seems too sharp. So just head over to effects, type in camera lens blur, and you guys can use any blur that you want, but I prefer to use camera lens blur. So I'm going to drag that onto this clip here, turn up that blur radius until I think it looks good. And I'm just going to copy this and paste it onto this top one. And I think that looks a little bit more natural, but I'm just going to add a few more things just to smooth it even more out. So I'm just going to click on all of these layers, right click and click on pre-compose, and move all attributes. And I'm just gonna speed up this pan a little bit because it looks too slow right now. So to do that, just right click on this layer, go up to time and enable time remapping. And you're just gonna put a keyframe once it starts panning. So just click this little point here to create a keyframe and just move forward to where you want the speed ramp to end. So once that blend ends, looks like a good spot, and just create another keyframe. And then I'm just gonna select these 2 keyframes at the end and just drag that in just a little bit to make this part faster. And you could go ahead and cut it off here. And one last thing you guys can do is just add some motion blur to that part. So just go ahead and right click on a new adjustment layer. And then I'm just gonna shorten it to the pan. So here and here. And I'm just gonna head over to effects, type in force motion blur. Go ahead and drag that on. And you could experiment with this number right here. So the higher you make it, the more motion blur there will be, and the less you make it, the less motion blur. But I'm gonna keep it at a 6 because I think that looks not too crazy. Okay, so I'm just gonna go ahead and render it out for you guys to see now. So definitely not as clean as Brandon Lee's, but I do hope that you guys learned something from this tutorial. And like I said at the beginning of this video, I will be releasing new content and hopefully teach you guys some new things that you guys haven't seen before. So with that being said, peace.